Welcome to People. I'm Jasil Njao. Today on Profile Personality and the Views on the People of Kenya. He is the vision bearer and the CEO of Haki Foundation. Haki Foundation trains and supports those with kidney problems and other chronic-related diseases. He's a young man and he's here to share with us his passion, his vision, and his mission. Welcome to the show, Fantas.
Thank you for hosting me, Joe.
Let me first begin by asking, how did Haki come about and what is Haki all about?
Okay. Haki is an acronym for Happy Kidney Foundation. We were registered in the year 2009. Our vision is a healthy, health-conscious society free from kidney diseases. We are also saying that our vision entails a free society where young men and women do not engage in harmful lifestyles and behavior. Just to give you a brief summary of how this vision came to be, it was conceptualized in the year 2006, and this was after my mom had suffered from kidney failure for a span of about 3 years. And so we had been straining as a family, and I realized that I can't just sit and complain about the things that were happening. And so I decided I was going to chip in and assist my family. The challenge was I did not have a job. I was fresh from school, and I didn't have a lot of networks to work with. And so for me, the only thing I had was my 2 legs. And so I organized for a 120-kilometer walk. And as an outcome of that, the feedback was impressive. We got a lot of publicity because we were featured in the prime news by all the media stations, and we were able to get support from the society. But this served as an eye-opener for me, because when I started the journey, it was about my mom. It was about the challenges I had as a person. It was about me trying to support my family. But then I learned it's bigger than this. I learned this is a public issue. And from there, I started interacting with patients, with children whom their parents were suffering from these diseases, and also with a very big number of young people who actually had no clue about, these non-communicable diseases. And it became evident to me that there was need for information. And even myself, I used to struggle. I would take my mom for dialysis, and the nurses would tell me, Fantas, you need to make sure that your mom is on the right diet.
I need to ask you, how was that 3-year process with mom being ill?
The initial 3 years were very challenging for me, because at first I had never heard of kidney failure. And there's always this perspective that it can happen to others, but not to me. And so they were very difficult years. But one thing, what happened was that the first time I learned about my mom, I had closed school, and I went to my sister's place, and then I found a letter in the living room that indicated that my mom had a bill that had accumulated to over 800,000 in a span of less than 2 months. And so for me, I knew that my life had changed forever. There was no question about that. I knew things were never ever going to be the same again. And so for the first 3 years, it was a question of withdrawing from life. I had so many questions, questioning God. Why is it? Why is it me? Why now? And this was reflected even in my school, because my mom became sick when I was in Form 2. And so I became rebellious at school. But after 3 years, I learned this was going to stick. We were going to be with it for a while, and what I needed was to learn to live with this condition and to find ways of solving those problems that I felt were pressing.
For someone who doesn't know and is watching, kindly detail for us what do you mean by kidney failure?
Yes. Kidney failure, first there are a number of kidney diseases, but kidney failure is the end stage. It is a point whereby your kidneys stop functioning. The basic function of our kidneys is they facilitate in metabolism, cleansing of the toxins and cleaning our body. And so when they can't function, then you have problems with urination and metabolism system doesn't function well. And so there is a need. When you have kidney failure, you are left with only two options. You either undergo a transplantation, whereby you need a donor to give you another kidney, or you go for dialysis, and that is use of an external machine to assist your kidneys to function, which is extremely expensive to sustain.
And how successful was the work? Did you manage to raise the estimated money you're looking for?
It's interesting. First, yes, the work was extremely successful because it's the same reason that I'm seated here today. But it had its own challenges. Number one is that I worked for 2 months trying to get sponsorship. And that was the first lesson I learned, that I was trying to address a public issue at a personal level. And so I could not get support from corporates. And I became frustrated. The other aspect was that, you know, by the time we were working, we had not gotten anyone to say that I'm going to give you this or I'm going to respond like this. And so first, it was actually a step of faith saying that, hey, you know, I'd rather walk than just sit at home. But in terms of the results, yes, we were able to get friends who gave us financial support after that. We got a lot of moral support as a result of that. And my mom was able to go on dialysis for about 6 months on credit. And we got a number of institutions actually giving us, you know, some money for dialysis. And so for about 3 weeks, her dialysis was paid, which was quite exciting for a teenager.
So you're talking about the challenges of the work. What are some of the frustrations or challenges you had in establishing Haki Foundation?
Wow, they were numerous. Now, the first thing that came up when I decided I'm going to set up a foundation, 5 years ago, we did not have many institutions that are addressing the non-communicable diseases. So the people that I talked to were like, hey, Fantas, you're very motivated, you're young, you're energetic. Why don't you do something to do with the youth empowerment and things like that, HIV? And I said, no, you don't get it. Here there's a problem that I've identified, and it's upon me to resolve it. And so it was very difficult even to convince people to join me and to just buy into the vision, because this is not about a Fantas. This is a public institution. And so